live rather than play the game.
Welcome back to UKSM 18. Right now, we've got... No, I've lost it. It's cleverpidgeon with Anodyne. 100% run. Just a quick reminder, we are of course trying to raise money for Special Effect, the charity that tries to make the lives of disabled children better through technology and video games. So, whenever you're ready, you can just take it away. You ready?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I'll introduce myself. I'm cleverpidgeon, as Matt just said. This is Christerius.
I pretty much just got my place on the couch because I made a perler, so that's all good.
Yeah, I made a pearl. I'm really pleased with that. But he's also played the game. He doesn't run it.
I have played the game, yes. So.
Someone else who knows the game. That's pretty good.
That's kind of fun.
Right. Yeah, cool. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. Right. So the first thing we're going to do is just this little control tutorial section. It tells you...
If you can read Japanese.
If you can read Japanese, it tells you how to move around, how to interact with stuff. This tells you how to open the menu with the enter key. And now it sort of gets into this hub world called the Nexus, with lots of portals to different parts of the actual game world. That guy, Sage, tells you about the story. Now this is Street. There's a lot of things that are going to go by very quickly. What I just did there, in this game you can walk back to the beginning of an area when you're in a dungeon. This place counts as a dungeon, so I did that warp, but the dungeon entrance is set a few screens past where I actually spawn in, so I did that. I also did it to skip that, and now we're wiggling. This is called the wiggle glitch.
Yes.
If you press up against a wall and move across a horizontal screen transition 6 times, you can clip into that wall tile, and you can use that to bypass basically everything in the game. And that's going to come in very handy for the first about 6 minutes of this run. So I use that to skip getting a key for a gate. This is Mitra, she's part of the story. Oh, no, I missed it. Okay. Delay is a little different. I know, John's. If you get off there, you can skip that second text box if you move off that screen quickly enough. You've got 3 steps to do it. Do some more wiggling, and now we're out of bounds. It doesn't look like it. Now it looks like it.
Enough, yeah.
I move across this weird thing, and now we've skipped the first dungeon. Completely. We'll be coming back. This is 100%. It's weird that we're skipping everything, I know, but it'll make sense in a moment. We've gone onto this screen. That's a portal. That's going to be useful later. Now we're going to skip some more things. That fish is called Goldman. He plays a sort of minor part in a side quest. This is Goldman's house, but we're here without doing what we're supposed to do to actually gain entrance, so we can just go and get the thing that's in the chest anyway. And then we fall through the hole and it puts us back out of bounds, and we can walk along the top. So I use the minimap for cues to tell when I can move about. You'll see 4 red squares on the minimap now, which means I can go down and enter this loading zone to this area called Terminal. This is an endgame area. You're supposed to come here after you've done everything else, but that doesn't matter. We're gonna take a quick detour like we did for Goldman's card to get Sage's card. That's the name of that guy. And then... Oh. We're going to wiggle some more. And you're going to like this if you like memes, because we have just entered a parallel universe. So parallel universes exist infinitely in this game to the left and right of each main map, with one tile of vertical offset, which you can see here. Like, this should be on the screen below, but it's not in a PU. And no object exists in a PU, so I can skip the gate in the main map, and I can skip the boss fight that's also on that bridge, and just walk here, and it's the end of the game. Now this, too many, a lot of menuing. That is why we came here. You can see I'm using it to rearrange tiles on the map, but once you beat the game, it's unlocked for use in almost every screen of the game world, which means we can beat the game and then detour around things to pick up everything that we skipped, and that's actually the fastest way to get everything. I'm going to use this time, we're going to be doing a lot of wiggling. I'm going to use this time to explain what 100% actually means in this game, because it's kind of specific. Chris will know as well. This game has a main game, but it's also got quite an extensive post game. So after you beat the game, you can go back through, and there's a lot more stuff you can find and pick up, and characters you can meet, and little Easter eggs and such. 100% doesn't count the things that are post game. It only counts the things that are in the main game. So the things you can collect before you actually beat the game. So although we are beating the game, we're collecting only the things that the 100% category and 100% Steam achievement need. So all the things you can get in a casual playthrough, for example. This is the final screen of the game, though. So we're here in, like, it should have taken about 5.5 minutes.
So this is pretty much the time that an any percent run would take as well? Or?
Yeah, with a few detours to pick up cards, but that's basically what any percent looks like. Now we do have to watch the credits, but we can fast forward them with the action button. But it will make a good time for a donation or two. So, fire away. Cool, cool. Alright, you can listen to the music, it's good.
It's been a while since I've listened to this music, it was pretty good.
You're not going to hear much of it, I'm sorry.
Oh.
It's really good. Sometimes I just let the credits play, and it's like, it's nice listening to the music, because it's so much more than what you get to hear of it in this. But you get like 16 bars and then you're done in this.
Look at all these things I don't remember seeing that done.
Yeah. No, I don't recognise any of this. Alright, I hope you like those cube things, because those are the only 2 times you can see them. Alright, now we're back. I saved here at this checkpoint, because no matter where you save the game, you'll always respawn at the last actual checkpoint you saved at. And I did this here while I was passing through, so now we're going to go back and collect things. In 100%, we need to collect all of the broom upgrades, 37 cards out of 48 of them that are available in the game. The 37 main game ones, not the 11 post game ones. And all of the health upgrades, which come in the form of these cicadas. Or cicadas, depending on where you're viewing from, but cicadas here. And once we do that, hope you enjoy keyboard noises. We can save and quit, and it'll put us back at the checkpoint. And now we're just going around. No, come back. Thank you. And we're going to save here. And this is the first dungeon, but we've entered from the back. We need to be at the front, so just going to walk to the front. That's where you actually leave that dungeon to go to the 4th dungeon of the game, but we'll get into that soon. Ah, this way. Oh, no. Okay. This one.
That's not too much of a time loss.
Nah, we'll be alright. The devs actually patched out fall damage in this, because people didn't like the platforming sections. So when I played this casually, you took full damage from things like that, but you don't anymore.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think I might have played when it was full damage.
I wondered why. I thought I had glitched my copy out when I came back to it. They never told anyone they patched it out until very recently.
Nice.
This is the first boss of the dungeon. It's called the Seer. It's simple. We enter the room from the back and we stab it. And it does that.
That looked pretty good to me.
Yeah, that was a pretty clean fight. The fight doesn't change much. There's no real RNG. Pick up the health upgrade. This is why we need to beat the bosses in 100%, because they give you health. Sage is going to talk to us, tell us about that key. That key isn't necessary. Even though it is a thing you'd pick up in a casual playthrough, it doesn't count towards the, I think, Steam achievement of 100% for this game, so it's not counted in the category. I think whoever set the rules up for the category for speedrunning based it a fair bit off of the Steam achievement. Well, I can't be certain. This game was being run for a few years before I came along. So, we've just... this is where we go to get to the 4th dungeon of the game. This place is called Youngtown. It's really creepy. There's a lot of lore. There are some... oh god. Those things, they do 6 points of damage to you. There are one of only 2 things in the game that do that. They're very dangerous. They're called killers. Don't touch them. So we've got to go through here. We're just going to swap through instead of, you know, walking around like we're supposed to. And then back through, and there's something you're supposed to do here casually. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but we can just go through and enter the loading zone from the back. And, oh, no, it's this one, isn't it? Yeah. All of the houses are on the same map, so we just go up to a different room and leave via a house that's further up the map of Youngtown than the one we entered from. Oh, that'll do. We're going to skip that. We'd activate that with the broom normally. You're also supposed to be able to jump by the time you get to this dungeon, but we can't do that yet. Oh no. These things are called gas guys. They shoot gas. The gas reverses your control directions.
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Ideally, you would never come into contact with them during this run. So, yeah. All of the floors of the apartment, which is this dungeon's name, they're all stored on the same map as well. So we've just gone up a floor or 2. I can't remember how many. And now we're at the boss. I'm going to put this square here, and it's going to be useful. So normally you'd have to dodge this thing, like shooting fire at you. It's called the Watcher. But we can just put a square out of bounds, and stand here, and stab it to death. Hopefully we get good RNG. I was manipulating the system clock. That was perfect RNG,
nice.
Actually.
Congrats.
Lovely. Okay, so it didn't do anything where it would like fly across the screen or appear like a ghost and you'd have to stab it to make it dash at you. It stayed up there shooting fireballs the entire time. Thank you. A lot of quick menu stuff in this game. So outside of a dungeon, warping sends you to the Nexus. In the Nexus, warping sends you to the middle of the Nexus. So now we jump back in this portal that we were in like 5 minutes ago. And we're going to walk around the fields by riding on dust, because Young can't swim, except for that last screen in the game, which you saw. But the text is in Japanese. I promise you it's very like sentimental and nice and all good. And you should play this game casually, but I can't speak Japanese, so I'm afraid I can only tell you roughly what it means from memory, but I'm not going to, because you should play it casually. We're just swapping through the fields, getting all of the cards that you'd have to otherwise take a round trip for. Got hit by the frog. No. No. Ah. Dust resets its position when you move across the screen, unless you're God's sake, walking on it. Thank you. You can do a fairly specific set of movements, because swapping water tiles or tiles with an animation on them can get finicky. The textures don't change properly. You sort of lose track of what tile you can walk on and which ones you can't. This area of the game we refer to as windmill. I bet you can't guess why. Well, it was funny to me. It was funny to me.
I laughed in my head.
Thank you, I appreciate it. This is the windmill. We've got to turn on the windmill. In a casual playthrough, there are 2 sets of 3 dungeons each. And that was dungeon 1 that we went into. That's the second one. And that's the third one there. And those statues open up the ways to dungeons 4, 5, and 6. But we do it out of order, because we've got the swap. Nothing matters. None of the order of things matters at all. But we do need to turn on the windmill and watch that cutscene, because that chest won't open otherwise. It will say some mysterious force is locking it. So we've got to watch that cutscene. It's alright though, it saves the pain of having to maneuver around the statue positions. You can just walk through where they are. Swap past, walk out of bounds, now we're in the forest. Different to the woods, which was the creepy place we were in before the first dungeon. I'm going to do a safety save here, because out of bounds movement, especially with the extra delay on this monitor, I don't want to mess up. If you move around out of bounds and you end up surrounded on all 4 sides by wall tiles, you got to warp somewhere or save and quit or something like that, because that's it otherwise. One minute, I'll go back. I was supposed to go through there, it's just that tiny turn. I forgot. Speaking of forgetting, I'm also going to save here, just in case, because I don't want to mess up this movement, because it would be very costly if I had to do all this again. It's too complicated for me to explain fluently while I'm actually playing the game, but it's called one train movement. You can find something about it somewhere on the Anodyne Gamepedia wiki. Not the Gamepedia one, I don't know. The Wikia one, there's an Anodyne wiki. Go and look there. That was Mitra, she just gave us the jump shoes, which they also aren't technically required for 100%, but although I'm not sure anyone's done any official testing on it, I'm pretty sure they're faster. I missed my jump. I was trying to jump in front of that in front of that chest, while Sage was walking towards me, so I could grab the thing from the chest. This boss is called the Wall. I think it's been patched out now, but in earlier versions of the game, the Wall sprite, you could see Mega Man's head to the left of it. This boss has RNG, but as long as you stay close enough to it to stab it when it's smiling at you, it doesn't really make a difference. But I would like to not be hurt as much. Okay, don't soft lock. Thank you. So sometimes, I don't know why, that text box that it brings up at the end of the fight just won't show up. And it will remain about to die forever. And you have to reset that by save, quitting, or just swapping out of the room and coming back in. And you have to redo the fight. It's sad. I have lost runs to it before, but it seems to be doing alright. We haven't lost anything to it. I haven't lost anything to it in practice. And here's our first regular non-swap broom upgrade. We don't need it yet, but it'll come in handy later. That extends the range of our broom in front of us. There's another one we'll be picking up later, which, no, extends the range of the broom perpendicular to it, and we just jump behind the stairs. Sorry, it goes by pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That's called door hurdling. Just for some reason, on that set of stairs, you can jump over the loading zone and it will put you out of bounds. And it only works there and at the other end of that staircase. I don't know why, but it does. No, thank you. That's the danger. I should mention I've been swapping tiles from off screen. If you swap from the top side or the left side of the screen, no, stop it. If you swap from the left side or top side of the screen, it will give you a default map tile, which in all of the maps except for the Nexus and that final area, which look like a garden, they are floor tiles, so you can walk on them, which will get you out of a tight spot if you swap into a place that you are. If you swap into a room and end up in a wall, you can get yourself out of it. This area is called space. It's very abstract, but nothing can hurt you. Those cube things, they're here. They're called the Cube Kings, but we aren't going to see either of them. The 2 times they appeared in the credits, that's all you get. I'm sorry. They're quite cool to talk to, though. They've got a lot to say. I didn't need to do that. Those look like enemies, even though they're smiling. I thought they were going to come towards me and hurt me, and I didn't know what to do. But you can just walk over them. Okay, good. So you pick up that chest, and then you walk back to the Nexus. And if you're facing up when you walk back to the Nexus, you can actually jump straight back into the portal before the animation for the Nexus pixelating in finishes, which saves like a second at most. Which you can see there. Just saves a little bit of time. We do it 3 times in this run. Those were the first 2. It's really easy because you're already facing up because you picked up something from a chest. Same thing as the street at the start of the run. This is the 6th dungeon of the game, the hotel. The entrance is actually set a few screens beyond where you actually enter. So we can do that to skip a few screens of walking. We're going to be doing a bunch of save and quits here to go and get things and then go back to the save point in this sort of central location by the lift. But first we're doing some walking out of bounds. So you can mash on this, by the way, with both your first action button and enter, which is why it's so loud. I don't know what that sounds like on stream. I'm sorry if that's annoying. But I gotta save the frames. I don't even know if it saves time. So I've just gone to floor 2 to get that card, and now we're going to floor 1, and we're gonna meet the hotel manager, which might sound nice. It's not nice. The hotel manager is an eye that floats in the water.
Makes sense.
He appears in a few places in the hotel, but then you fight him. Sort of, he reveals himself to you. Oh, this is not a great fight. The way he moves depends on the way you hit him, the directions you hit him. But that was manageable. So he jumps out of the water in this phase and reveals that he's not just an eye, he's an eye spider. And he'll go back and forth, and you can just stand here and move up to however far up the roof he goes and hit him. And then do it again. You do it 6 times and then he dies. Pick up the card. There's one after every boss. And now we're going to go to this portal, back to the Nexus, and back to the middle of the Nexus, and then back to the area we were at, called Terminal before. And just walk out. So we are in the fields now. We're out bounds in the fields now. I'm going to walk 4 screens down. You can see my little minimap queue. There are 2 screens on the right of the minimap visible. and now we're in the beach, which is the area before the second dungeon of the game. One of the areas before it. We're going to make sure we walk onto that screen because we need that portal later. That's quite important. You can't swap gates away because they're an object, but you can swap the tiles from under them. So we do that and just go around the other corner that we create. And there's the other jump back into a portal. This run is actually a pacifist run, despite the fact that we've so far killed 4 bosses. Because in the casual playthrough of this game, I will spoil this, you got to push that fisherman into the whirlpool. And it bleeds red with his blood, and he dies, presumably.
It's coming back to me now.
Yeah. It's an interesting sequence in the game, but you can actually just swap past him and the loading zone's already there, so we don't have to kill him or watch his animation of him falling off the pier. So, like I said, pacifist run. And this is the extend, which, wrong one, this one, which extends the range of your, no, that's not the extend, that's the widen. It extends the range of your broom perpendicular to the angle of your direction of stab. Gonna skip this key button, come on. It's quite precise to be able to stand in front of the chest and swap the right tile without, picking up the key or swapping the tile below. Gonna maneuver through here. I picked up that key, skip that puzzle. And then there's this secret room with the boss smoking something and vibrating
I haven't seen that before.
ferociously. You can talk to it, but I can't remember what it says, and I'm playing in Japanese for text speed reasons, so sorry. Yeah, I think you're only supposed to get there with swap. We can enter post-game areas in this, we're just not picking up post-game stuff. So we'll use a post-game area to move later as well. Right, this is the boss of the second dungeon, the Rogue. I'm standing in this specific spot. I'm close enough to it that I can still hit its hitbox, but excuse me, but I'm far enough to its right that it will never start its second phase. And in its second phase of attack, it moves around the room and it starts making waves that shoot you off your little piece of dust back into this bottom left corner. And that's quite slow because you've got to go and find your dust and go and stab it again. But thankfully, we can save about 7 seconds, I think, by standing there and just stabbing it until it's gone. Alright, that's 5 out of 6 dungeons down. This was the second one. We've done 1, 4, 3, 6, 2, and now we're going to dungeon 5. This place is referred to as the 8-bit dungeon, but it's not a dungeon, it's an overworld area. Although in the code of the game, I think it's called Cell and Train. It's just referred to as those. And it changes the whole graphical effect to this instead of something more 16-bit. That's our final cicada from the overworld. No. And we're going to save and quit. And end up back here. Ah, yes. I have a favourite sequence of button presses in this game, and that was it. It's just really nice, and I got it. I'm pleased with the delay on this TV as well.
It's funny because I know that feeling.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a good feeling. So we just walked into a post-game area, but we didn't do any of the post-game stuff. We just used the portal that we're supposed to get into there, to get out of there, and it takes us further up the labyrinth. That's another name for the 8-bit dungeon. Got a lot of names as the 8-bit dungeon. Have I moved too far? No, good. Okay. Lost track of my cues there. On the minimap, once that little red square moves right twice, you know you can go down into the loading zone. So, this is the last dungeon. It's called the Circus, and it's the most RNG heavy by a very long way. And the reason for that will become apparent in a very short moment. Sorry, I'm aware there's not much you've had a chance to say.
No, you can totally cover all of this, man.
Alright. Sweet. These ones shoot fire, those bats, but they're not the main problem. This is the main problem. These are clowns, they stack up, they always move diagonally, but the direction is random, and then they explode in a random direction, and then they move individually in a random direction, and it's horrible. So you can be cheated out of a good dungeon by those things. It's not fun. These are lions, they're also RNG based. Got good RNG, they can shoot fire, and you don't want them to shoot fire at you. Okay. Come here, come here. Come on, thank you. Just coax that out gently. Well, that was nice.
3 in 1.
3 in 1, yeah. Good movement. It's very hard to manage in real time what they're doing because it's so unpredictable. And now this is the boss of the 5th dungeon and the final boss of the run, the servants. And this is why I've manipulated the system clock, because you can RNG manip these. Change their positions of movement. And okay, I got the first bit. I missed the second bit. It's okay. The first bit is the more important one. Okay, that's them. Cool, cool. So I was trying to get them to stop in the top left corner, but that's fine. Alright, time will be coming up very soon. I'm going to pick up something from a chest, and that will be time. That will be when I've collected everything. So 15, 25 seconds, a bit less than that. Okay, and time. Good. Thank you. So let's just check. We've got all 16 health upgrades, health points. Decent in-game time, although in-game time is not accurate to real time. Tell me that in a minute. Just in a minute, thanks. 37 cards out of 48. We'll get the rest, I don't know, on another save file some other time. And we've also got all 4, well, we've got the 3 broom upgrades. Fun fact, the broom itself isn't mandatory for the 100% Steam achievement, but since you can't swap anywhere or kill anything without the broom, you do need it. Understandably.
How do you know about that in the coding or what?
I've seen other people talking about it, I think, on the like speedrun.com forums for it.
Fair enough.
And trying to figure out how the categories are defined. And similarly, that Steam achievement is called 100% and beat the game. We have already beaten the game, but we haven't beaten the final boss.
Yeah.
Which is what that achievement is partially based on. So we just do the 100% bit, which doesn't include the boss.
All makes sense.
It's quite game specific, but it works.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, real time.
Yeah. What do you think it was?
I'm gonna go for mid-low 29.
30.
30, okay.
54.
54, right.
Yeah.
That is quite a bit off what I expected.
Well-
Clearly, I can. Oh no, I'm an idiot. Of course, I'm an idiot. Because the in-game time is so strange. In any percent, it's higher than what you'd get real time. In 100%, it's lower. I forgot that by a minute or two.
Well, it was
30,
under your
54.
expected.
Yeah,
So it's not too
30
bad.
54, I'm fine. Especially with John's the delay on this TV.
Yeah.
I've never played on a TV this big before either. When I was doing the wiggling, it's like watching a tennis match.
I don't believe that, man.
Well, thank you for coming
it's fine.
down. Thank you for doing the run.
Thank you
That
very much.
was
Thank
Clever
you for
Pigeon
having
on
me.
Anodyne.
Can I plug something?
Yeah, go ahead. Quickly.
Okay. Firstly, I'll plug me,
Good start.
because I'm doing another one. I'm playing Gun Princess Zero tomorrow, tomorrow afternoon sometime. So tune in for that.
Should
Second
be around
plug.
4:30.
4:30.
Nice.
Cool. Great. Thanks. Second plug. This game is coming out on Xbox One and PS4 in September.
Oh wow.
So yeah, pick up that if you're interested. And thirdly, a sequel to this game is coming out next year, early next year. Anodyne 2: Return to Dust. It's not only got 2D bits like this, but it's also partially in 3D. like a sort of old PS1 game, kind of 3D looking vibe. It's cool, it's great. Go and follow Analgesic Productions on Twitter, they'll tell you all about it. It's great. They're a great company, they've made some good games, and you should support them. And I have to wrap up now. I was going to wrap up anyway, but I'm done now. Thank you. See you, hope you enjoyed it.